again. And so the writing is saying, welcome to the neighbourhood. I'll give you a hand. You'll fit right in. Again, it's the middle of the day. It's out in the street. It's two men.
And it's also just continuing this thing of like, just subdue something. I mean, you'd all do this. If your neighbor was moving in, they drop something, you'd pick it up. This is a completely normal thing to do. But that has to be processed as some kind of validation. It is so narcissistic. Like, get over yourself. People do nice things.
I would have helped him pick up a box. I would have helped this man. Anybody on the planet pick up a box in front of him, I would have helped him, right? The reality is, I would be thinking to myself, I really hope that I do not run into this man in the change rooms with my 3 daughters.
So I would help a neighbor pick up a box, but at no point would that make me go, this man is a woman, this man can go into our change rooms or into any of our female-only spaces, nothing. We're like 3 ads into their roster at this point. And if you've noticed, there's been 1 woman and then the other 2 men who are sort of on the receiving end of this gender stuff. The woman has been portrayed as the aggressor, and the 2 men so far have been portrayed as the really accepting ones in society. And this goes back to what I was saying before. If it is then that men are completely accepting of gender non-conforming men, then they can go into male spaces. They are proving our point.
And it's not even about whether they do or don't, because they're forcing themselves into our spaces whether we agree with it or not. So they can go into the men's spaces whether they agree with it or not. We already have laws about assault and harassment. We've got the laws in place. If something happens, you can complain, you can call the police, just as per the norm. There's no reason for all that risk to be transferred onto women.
But just on, like, paused on there, if I was in a female-only space and this guy walked in, I would be petrified. Like, I think it's really telling that the Unsaid didn't do an ad of a female prison with a convicted male sex offender in lipstick walking in and the reaction women have from seeing that, and then what actually happens.
And where's that at? Male rapist in prison with my female prisoners just up the road.
Also, interestingly, Harriet Shing, the MP who worked on this campaign,
she's the equality minister.
Yes, so she's the equality. But so when I contacted her, when were we doing that campaign about the male sex offender in that prison? And she's blocked me from everything. If we want to get into the unsaid, it's that when we contact these people about our genuine concerns, they block us and say nothing to us and then do nothing and then portray us completely inaccurately. So giving your neighbor a hand or giving up a seat on a train that your bag was having on the seat, these are not giving up rights for another person.
That's exactly right.
The class of females are being forced to give up our actual legal rights. This is not an accurate comparison here.
And at the beginning of the whole series, it says 3 out of 4 trans people have been treated unfairly. You don't even know what's going on for us as women.
Totally, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
How do they get to decide what's fair and what's not? What about 100% of women and girls being treated unfairly by having their entire sex-based rights removed?
Because they've spent so long sitting in their bubble of ideology and not listening to what anyone who is challenging them is saying. And so there's no one who knows what the other side is saying would release this ad.